So, that's Switch 2, huh? Yeah, so at 1 PM on a random Thursday afternoon, Nintendo decided to casually shadow drop the Switch 2 reveal. No big announcement, just an out of nowhere, here's an update from Nintendo. And boom, we have the trailer, and we know this thing actually does exist, and it's not some elaborate social experiment conducted by the government. So, it's time for me to stop working on the other videos I actually had planned, and drop everything to speak about this trailer, because, look man, what else am I supposed to do here? Okay, so first up, the design. The design I've seen people are kind of mixed on. Some people think it's fine, others think it's cool, and the rest just straight up don't like it. And I somewhat see why. Yes, at the end of the day, this is literally just the Switch, but again, it's got a very sleek look to it, but I think that fits a lot. But I understand why people aren't fond of it. However, one thing I want to mention is that we're definitely getting alternate colors for this. So even if you don't like it initially, it doesn't matter at all in the long run. Plus, while they are boring, again, I don't think it matters. And if you're really gonna not buy a console just because of some colors, I think that's your own issue. Thank God they kept the USB-C cable, by the way. I think it was obvious they were going to, but it's still good to hear they aren't stupid. However, what's noticeable is that there's another USB-C port, which is right at the top. Which, honestly, thank God, playing on Switch while it's charging in handheld mode is one of the most uncomfortable things ever, especially if you're lying down. But there are people, who do like it or don't mind it, so I'm glad that instead of just removing that, they've kind of given you an option. But I personally will always be using the top USB-C port. Next thing they show off is the stand. Basically, it's fairly similar to the OLED stand, or it can bend incredibly far down, and it looks way better than the original Switch's stand, which the original stand was just genuinely pathetic. I don't know what they were thinking with that. It's very weak and flimsy and comes off incredibly easily. I thought the OLED stand was pretty good, honestly, even if it's simple, but I guess for this they wanted to redesign it to really make the Switch 2 stand out even more. Then they finally show off the Joy-Cons. Now, I've already spoken about the design of the Joy-Cons, so I'll skip over that, but also mainly because I want to speak more about what these can do, because there seems to be some pretty sizable changes. The first, most noticeable thing is that the IR camera is gone now. Which, I mean, you know what? Yeah, fair. The IR camera is probably the most underutilized feature on the Switch. From what I could find, there's like under 20 games total that use it, and in terms of first-party Nintendo stuff, none of their major franchises actually use it, so it's totally understandable that they got rid of it. Although, obviously, it will still affect certain games, which I'll talk about later when we talk about backwards compatibility. On top of that, the LED light for the home button on the right Joy-Con is gone, but like, who cares? Then the most exciting feature is that they basically confirm that you'll be able to use these new Joy-Cons as a mouse, and this has crazy potential. A lot of games could really take advantage of this. Now Nintendo, now that we have a mouse, please give us a browser again. I'm begging you, I just want a browser, man. There's no reason for you not to have one. But, jokes aside, now I can talk about the most controversial part of the Switch 2, other than the design, at least from what I've seen. The method of connecting the Joy-Cons to the system. So, with the Switch 1, the way you'd connect them is that there is a rail on each side of the system, and you'd slide the Joy-Cons into place, and this worked pretty much perfectly. Now, with the Switch 2, the way you do it is you snap them into place. I have seen so many people basically worried about this, and to be honest, I don't blame them. In the trailer it does look very fragile, and I don't think they showed it off very well. But my thing is that Nintendo isn't stupid. You can have your issues with them, yeah, but they know how to provide a mostly good experience, and I think they've taken a lot of feedback into account since 2017. With how confident they're being with the system now, I doubt they made it so the Joy-Cons would break that easily. It just doesn't really make sense for them to do that. They'll definitely go into how the Joy-Cons work in better detail in the Direct they have planned for April. And after that, there's tons of in-person events people can go to, so that'll be the best way to get rid of any doubts anyone has about the Joy-Cons. Then, after a quick overview, these motherfuckers showed off a new goddamn Mario Kart. After almost 11 years, we are finally free of Mario Kart 8. There is a surprising amount of stuff to analyze in this trailer. There's a new track, which from the looks of things is called Mario Bros. Circuit. There's a new item, which people have found seems to be some kind of fast food bag with eyes on it. No clue what that could be for. I don't know, maybe hunger is the gimmick of Mario Kart 10. And yes, I did not misspeak, it is Mario Kart 10. Nintendo officially counts Mario Kart Tour as a mainline game, as they hold it up to the same standard as the other mainline games. It is not a spin-off, I will not argue about this. Yoshi has a burger joint now. By far though, the biggest thing from this trailer, which was honestly the thing that made me realize it's a new Mario Kart, because I don't play much Mario Kart 8, is that there's been an art style change. Mario's model is clearly pretty different, and honestly looks like a mix of the regular modern day 3D Mario and the 2D Mario from the 90s Nintendo has been pushing a lot lately. Most noticeably though, DK also resembles his movie design now, which was also inspired by his older art. Peach also seems to be a bit different, although we don't really have a high quality version of her right now. But the reason I bring up Peach is because one thing you can see very clearly is that she is specifically on a bike here, which is odd because she still has her dress, despite Peach previously having an alternate costume when she rides a bike. Now, this could mean that the alternate bike costume is now an option that you can choose to enable or disable. I think it's likely that they just straight up got rid of it based on the direction the art style of this game seems to be going, which leads me into something that I've not really seen many people talk about. While yes, this could just be hinting at racers having skins/cosmetics, which would be insane, I think it's more likely that we're looking at the official new models for the entire series going forward. I fully believe this adds up when you consider that recently Nintendo has actually been pushing these characters to resemble their older art more, such as in Mario RPG and Mario Wonder. I'm 100% sure this is just the direction Nintendo wants to take Mario's primary art style from now on, and honestly, I'm not opposed to that at all. I actually think that's a really good decision, and these models look great, and being real, I actually think I like them more than the current models right now. Also, while we're still on topic of characters, people have noticed that there seems to be no guest characters at all in this teaser, which is odd because there wasn't any in tour either. So to me this could be one of two things: either guest characters are completely gone now, or they're just saving them to be revealed in a future trailer. But it is odd that out of the 20 or so characters people have spotted, there isn't a single guest character included. Personally, I did really like guest characters, but I get if Nintendo has chosen to get rid of them. It is called Mario Kart after all, and while characters like Link or the Inklings are cool, they aren't really needed. Final thing I gotta mention, which I nearly forgot to include, is that this entry now supports 24 players instead of 12, which is a cause for concern. This game is about to cause crash outs unknown to the human mind. Friendships are going to fall apart because of this game. It's just how it is, I'm really just a messenger. Let's finally move out of Mario Kart. They finally show the dock, which just kind of looks like a black OLED dock, but I think it's slightly more curved. I could be wrong on that, but who cares. Also, the comfort grip is back for whatever reason. Nintendo, you know you could just include, like, an actual Pro Controller instead, right? But whatever, I guess. Sure, comfort grip is back. Then they have this big image about backwards compatibility, basically telling you that you can play your Switch 1 digital and physical games on the Switch 2. Now, we did already know this, but the reason I bring it up is this disclaimer. Certain Nintendo Switch games may not be supported on or fully compatible with Nintendo Switch 2. This has obviously caused a fair bit of confusion, because what do you mean we can't play certain games? And after realizing the IR sensor is gone and that Labo exists, I think it's clear they're talking about games that require the IR sensor. So basically anything that needs it in order for you to play it is pretty much cooked, which does include Labo, so apologies to the 3 Labo fans who were hoping to play it on Switch 2. Then finally they announced the Direct, which is happening on April 2nd. That's going to be where we get our full look at the system and probably a couple game announcements. I won't lie, it does suck that we have to wait till April, but I have a strong feeling we're going to get something in February to make up for that, because right now Nintendo has almost nothing left, at least when it comes to games that have solidified release dates. The only one right now is Xenoblade X Definitive Edition, and that won't start full-blown marketing until late February, early March. There's Pokemon Day, but again, not until very late February. So I think we're getting something, whether it's some extra minor details on the system, or just a small Switch 1 focused Direct. Who knows? But I doubt they'll just go radio silent until it's time to promote Xenoblade. Overall, I'm pretty fucking excited for this system, especially with rumors that it's supposed to have close to PS4 Pro level specs. It's gonna make for some of the best games ever. We're already getting an insane amount of old-timers with PS3 level stuff. I know they're gonna cook with PS4 level. Xenoblade with PS4 power especially, that's like the end goal, like that's what it's all for. This is what human evolution set out to achieve. My big worry right now is honestly probably the UI though. I really just want a good UI. My biggest issue with the Switch 1 is that the UI is so bland and boring and lacks any kind of style or flair. And then you've got a particularly bad for eShop, which is not only poorly designed, but it's incredibly slow and clunky to use. There just needs to be a massive UI overhaul, honestly. Right now, though, I honestly think that's all I need to talk about. I just wanted to put out a quick video because it's the fucking Switch 2. I know a lot of people thought the leaks kinda ruined this trailer, and while I understand that thought process, I think just knowing what the console looks like officially and the reveal of Mario Kart 10 was enough for me. With that said, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time.